Hey, welcome to the volume number 4, March the 20-something of March. This question is from somebody named Wild Latinos, and they asked, what is your greatest sporting feats? Well, I've got a good answer for this one, because my greatest sporting feat was many years ago, during a good old-fashioned game of orphan ball. And maybe some of you are unfamiliar with orphan ball. Perhaps in your country it is known as orphan soccer. But basically the object of the game of orphan ball is, the orphans in the orphanage are split into two teams. There's the red team and the green team. And they kick a big inflatable ball back and forth to try and get it into the goals. And inside the big inflatable ball is one of the lucky orphans, who is known as the baller. And, this was the first official game of orphan ball. And guess who got chosen to be inside the ball? Let me put it this way. Who's got two thumbs and was a fucking baller? This guy. And currently my two thumbs are pointing at a mirror, and in the mirror is my own reflection, indicating that I was the one inside of the orphan ball. So there was like like I said, the red team and the green team, but like the baller was kind of his own solo team. You know what they say, there is no I in team, but there is a U in orphan. So at first I was like, but please don't put me in the orphan ball. But the orphan master said,
You shut the fuck up and get inside that orphan ball, or else I'm gonna put you back in the orphan box.
And so I thought, the ball is probably safer than the box because there are no corners in it. So it's like the lesser of two eagles. Anyway, the ticking clock on the game was that somebody wanted to win before the one inside the orphan ball ran out of oxygens. So the games could last, 10, 20 minutes or something. But actually being inside the orphan ball was not as bad as I expected, because the team that gets the most points is the one that gets to eat that night. And because I was inside the ball, I had some control over who scores the most points. So the red team, the captain of the red team came to me and they're like, if you help us win this game, we will give you 10% of our orphan foods. And I was like, okay, you guys, I'll help you win. But then the captain of the green team was like, hey, if you help us win, we'll give you 11% of our orphan foods. And if there's one thing I learned in mathematical class, it's that 11 is a higher number than 10. So then the games begin, and the red team and green team start kicking the ball back and forth across the ball court or whatever. And then the orphan master watches over the game from atop his iron throne. And so the first to score is the green team. But then the red team comes to me and they're like, what the fuck, man? I thought you were gonna help us or whatever. And I'm like, sorry, you guys, but they offered me 11% of the orphan foods. So then they're like, we'll give you 12%. And I'm like, okay. But then the green team's like, hey, we'll give you the 13%. And the red team says, we'll give you 14%. So they went back and forth like this, making their competing bids, until the red team ultimately offered me 100% of their orphan foods. And that 100 is the highest possible number. So that means the red team won. And then the orphan master came down and he's like, I guess that means you get all of these orphan foods for yourself, you little fat piece of shit. And then he cut a hole in the orphan ball and started pouring the food inside. But then I was gonna start eating, but I looked around at all of my orphan brothers and sisters, and I said, I cannot possibly eat all these orphan foods myself, I would declare that I would like to share the foods with all the peoples in the orphanage, whether they be on the red team or the green team. And then I looked up at the orphan master, and I saw a single tear come out of his eyeball. And in the orphanage they say that the orphan master's heart grew 3 sizes that day, because although he still imprisoned me in the orphan box for my disobedience, he only locked me in there for 11 hours instead of the usual 12, proving that he was truly touched by my generosity that I displayed towards my orphan brethren. But yeah, that was truly my greatest sporting feat. I have not topped it with any of my sporting achievements since then. Not even the time that I made my own basketball out of a rock and some orange paint. That still was not as great as my orphan bowling. Now all this talk about orphan foods has made me hungry. Okay, goodbye you guys. Oh hey, here's an important question about Pringles from an anonymous. Did you ever receive that apology from President Pringle? Okay, so just to recap, some months ago, I tried to eat some Pringles and the can was defective and it injured my hands when I tried to open it, my innocent hands. And so from that day forward, I've boycotted the Pringles industry. I have not eaten a single Pringle. And I will not eat them again until I receive an apology from President Pringle, is what I said. And I have not eaten them again. Thereby I have proven that once you pop, you can't stop. Myth busted. But yeah, like I said, I have not received an apology. But in that time, I have received 1 letter of correspondence from the Pringles people. But it was definitely not an apology. You could say that it's the opposite of an apology. I don't know if there's a word for that. But you know what? I got the letter right here. Can you hear the paper? That's what you hear. That's what kind of paper they use at Pringles Industries. But I'll read the letter right now. Okay, it starts out like this. Dear customer. That's pretty informal, but it's also, that's the first inaccuracy. Because I am not a customer. I am it should say dear boycotter or something like that. But anyways, it says, Dear customer, we here at the Pringles Corporation recently heard of the troubles you experienced with your purchase of delicious Pringles, and we want to say that we are sorry. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the problem? This sounds like a pretty good apology, and maybe it would be if the letter ended right there. But that sentence does not end in a period, or an exclamation mark, or even a semicolon. No, it says, we are sorry, ... Okay, that's, what's that called? An ellipsis? Yeah, that's not an end of a sentence. No, okay, I'll just tell you what it says. It says, we want to say we are sorry, ... Sorry you're such a fucking shitbird. Can you believe they said that? And then they drew a picture of a bird, and they wrote the word you, like Y-O-U, with an arrow pointing to the bird. They're saying that I am this bird that they drew. That's what that implies. And then on top of that, there's a speech balloon coming out of the bird's beak mouth. And so the bird, which is me, according to them, the bird is saying, tweet, tweet, I'm a fucking shitbird. Look at my shitty bird feathers. I like to eat bird shit and then shit out that bird shit. And then cause I'm a shitty shitbird. Tweetly tweet. Please turn over. So then you turn over the page and it continues on the other side. That's how much fucking dialogue they wrote for this bird. So then it says, tweet, tweet, the early bird gets the shit worm and eats the worm shit. Then I like to puke that shit into my baby bird's shit mouths, 'cause I'm a mother bird as well. Tweety, tweet, tweet, I'm a shit bird. And so that's the end of the dialogue. And it says, sincerely yours, President Pringle. P.S. You just been pringled. I don't even know what that last part means. So yeah, they basically declared war on me with this letter. Here's what I think of this letter, President Pringle. I just tore it in half. I'm gonna throw it in the recycling bin and have it recycled. 'Cause I care about the environment, unlike you, President Pringle. So yeah, fuck Pringles. Continue to boycott them. I will. I'm never gonna eat them again. In fact, I'm gonna make my own Pringles. It's pretty easy. You just need like some stale bread, cut into circles, and then you can put them in an empty soup can. And I'm gonna call them Pringles. That'll show him. That'll show you who's the shitbird. President Pringle, I'm gonna draw a picture of a bird and then call it President Pringle. Anyways, it was a pretty good drawing of a bird, though. I have to admit. I kind of wish I didn't rip it in half now, because, even though I do not care for the artist, there was some pretty good artwork. Sometimes you gotta separate the art from the artist, and in this case, the artist is President Pringle, and his art is a bird talking about what a shitty shit bird it is, and that bird is me. Okay, thanks for listening. Today's question comes from good old Jester McSpace. How do you feel about autoerotic asphyxiation? Autoerotic asphyxiation. How do I feel about that? The automatic pixelation of erotic asses. That to me, that sounds like censorship. Pixelating all those asses, okay? And I am not for any kind of censorship. Let me just tell you about the history of censorships for those who don't know. Like when the TV was first invented in ancient times, like in the 60s, there was no censorship at all. You could do whatever the heck you want. But then that all changed on September 11, 2002, when Michael Jackson showed his nipple during the Super Bowl while singing his hit song, Fuck the Police. And at first, when he showed that nip, people were just like, oh, hey, it's just a nipple, no big deal. But this was the time when, HD, high-definition TVs were just, becoming a big thing. So when people saw that, the crystal clear image of that nipple, and they were able to zoom in on it, and they saw that his nipple was shaped exactly like a swastika. And when President Obama saw that swastika nipple, he was like, that's it. It is now illegal to show any kinds of nudities or profanities on TV. So yeah, thanks Obama, as Candy Slaws might say. But I don't even blame Obama. I blame that Michael Jackson and his goddamn swastika nipples. That was probably the most offensive thing Michael Jackson ever did. And so with these new censorship laws, they had to that changed TV forever. Every TV show had to change how they did things. Even shows like The Simpsons. Maybe you remember, if you're old enough, Bart Simpson's catchphrase, "Don't have a cow, man." Before the censorship laws, his catchphrase used to be, "Suck my yellow dick, man." He would say that all the time. Yeah, the Simpsons used to be pretty hardcore. There was even one controversial episode in which Flanders, how do I put this? He partook in an act of self-gratification while simultaneously choking himself with a belt. There's probably a term for that activity, but yeah, it was a pretty dark episode of The Simpsons. And they can't do anything like that now, any kind of deep character stories like that, because these fucking swastika nipple censoring laws. So yeah, that's why I don't like censorship, I guess. You know what I say? Censorship. This censorship is more like censorship. Okay, thanks for your censorship question, Space Jester. Goodbye. Oh, hey, this person on the internet.com named Possession and Correction asked, what was the most embarrassing thing that you've gone through? And, yeah, I've had, many embarrassing moments in my lifetime. But usually I try to forget about those memories. Because if you remember your embarrassing moments too much, they'll just stick inside your head and haunt your dreams. They will haunt your dreams. But since you asked, I can probably remember a more recent embarrassing story, like this one. Just a couple days ago, my grandpa was hungry and he wanted something to eat. So he asked me to go and get him a burrito from the burrito store. And because he is an old person, he has very specific dietary requirements. So I wrote down the special burrito ingredients that he wanted in the burrito. And I went to the burrito place. And I was like, could I please have a burrito for my grandpa? He wants to have spaghetti and chicken beans all inside a tortilla made of French fries. But then the person at the burrito store was like, we don't have any spaghetti, we don't have any chicken beans, and you can't make a tortilla out of French fries. So, and I could not believe this. I thought I was a loyal customer of these people. And now here they are, refusing to make a burrito for my grandpa. But anyway, so I can see the only way I was gonna get this special burrito was if I made it myself. So I had to collect all the ingredients, starting with the spaghetti. So to get this spaghetti, I went to the factory, the Heinz Spaghetti Factory, and I went in there on one of their free tours, and I was gonna scoop some spaghetti out of one of their big giant vats and hide it in my pockets and walk out with it. It sounds like stealing, but I slipped some money in the donation jar on the way in, so it all evens out. But anyways, I went in there and then I slipped on a banana peel and I fell into the spaghetti. So next I had to collect some chicken beans, and for this I went down to the local chicken farm and I asked the farmer if I could have some chicken beans, please. But then I slipped on another banana peel and I fell into a haystack. And people always say it's hard to find a needle in a haystack. I must have found 10 needles in that thing. They stabbed me in each finger. Good thing I had some bandages to heal up my fingeries. So then last of all, I had to get the French fries, and so I could mash them up into a nice tortilla shape. So for that, I just went to McDonald's and ordered a large fries. But then I slipped on a McBanana peel and I fell into a pile of McNuggets that were covered in secret sauce. It was delicious. So then I finally had the burrito. I had collected all the ingredients and combined them into a delicious burrito for my grandpa. So I walked into the house and I said to him, "Here is your burrito, Grandma." That's right. I accidentally called him Grandma instead of Grandpa. And that was truly an embarrassing moment. It was It brought great shame to my family, and I had to sleep in the timeout room. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa. I didn't mean to call you the wrong name. Oh, Easter times is here. Ring-a-ting-a-ling. Oh, hey, I was just singing an Easter song because today's question is, what are your plans for Easter? From an anonymous. They wanted to keep their real name a secret because they're asking such a controversial question. Anyways, my plans for Easter are like, I do like the usual Easter stuff. A couple weeks before Easter, I put up the Easter tree and I decorate the house with Easter decorations like eggs and bunny fur. Like, you can just throw eggs at the wall like you were soundproofing it, and then the fur sticks to the eggs. And I also in the weeks leading up to Easter, I go up onto the roof of the house so I can reinforce the roof, make sure it's nice and strong, so that when it rains eggs on Easter Day, the eggs will just bounce off the roof and won't cause any damage. So that's just like the preparations for Easter. On the actual Easter Eve, I go down into the Easter shelter and I drink my Easter juice. And I usually work on my annual Easter poem. I work on it by candlelight because there is no electricity allowed in the Easter shelter. All you get is a bucket of Easter juice, a inkwell, a feather, and some parchment to write your Easter poems. I have not written this year's Easter poem yet, but I've got last year's poem if you want to hear it. Do you want to hear it? I can't hear you. Alright, this isn't a live thing. Okay, here's my last year's Easter poem. It is entitled Easter Times, a cautionary tale. And tale is spelled T-A-R-L, cause it's like a bunny tail instead of the other. Okay, here it goes. Easter time is here, and the eggs fall from the sky. The Easter bunny laid some eggs. He laid them in my eye. Now I cannot see, because my eyes are Easter eggs, and there are tiny Easter bunnies chewing on my legs. Run to the Easter shelter and drink your Easter juice. Easter times is here, and the bunnies on the loose. The end. It's important to write the end at the end of poems, cause that way you know that it's over. So yeah, those are my Easter plans. They're probably pretty much the same as everybody else. So be safe in your Easter shelter this year, and good night. Deck the hall with Easter eggs, ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ting-a-ling. Oh hey, this question comes from good old Mommy Sow. And the question is, what is your favorite joke? I got a few favorite jokes. And the first one goes like this. How many orphans does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is the 3 orphans. One to light the match, one to hold the candlestick, and one to watch out for the orphan master. That joke is funny 'cause it's true. But it probably only works if you've actually spent time in an orphanage, 'cause then you would know that there are no light bulbs in the orphanage. There are only candles. And the orphan master does not like it when you waste candle wax, 'cause you gotta ration the candle wax. But maybe I can think of a better joke that is a little less esoterical, like this one. So there's this bartender, there's this horse. This horse that there's a horse and it walks into a bar and it's got a long face. The horse does. And it walks in and the bartender sees the horse and he's like, hey, what's up with that long face? What are you, some kind of horse? And the horse says, yeah, that's what I am. That's why my face is so long, because I am a horse. No! You know, it makes a horse sound, like what horses do. And that's the end of that joke. But here's one more joke. Goes like this. Knock, knock. Who's there? The orange. Orange who? I bet you're probably pretty glad that I said the word orange instead of the word banana. Actually, you know what? That joke isn't very good. That one kind of sucks. But it's not, it's not whoever wrote the joke's fault. That joke is kind of, it's of its time, if you know what I mean. Cause that joke was written like in ancient times, in like the 60s, and back then, like, every joke was constantly referencing a banana. Bananas back then, that was like the funniest thing in the goddamn world. It was about as funny as like Shrek or Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. So for this joke to come along and reference an orange instead of a banana, that was like a breath of fresh air into the world of fruit references. And because if you think about it, back in those times, they couldn't just make a joke that referenced like a 20-year-old video game. All they had to talk about was like fruits and or vegetables. So there were all these jokes about bananas and cucumbers and a couple of watermelons. But anyway, that's that fucking joke. You know what? I actually got one more, but this one's a little this PG-13. So you gotta ask your parents for permission if you're under 13 to listen to this one. Okay, so there's this family of aristocrats. They walk into this talent agency place, and the talent agent guys, he's like, okay, you guys, you look like a pretty good act. What is your name? What do you do? And the leader of the family, he's like, hold on a second. I gotta go use the restroom facilities. So he goes away for like a minute, then he comes back. And the talent agency guy's like, hey, you weren't gone very long. Did you wash your hands? And he's like, no, I didn't. Cause we're the aristocrats and we do gross shit. You fucking horse. Why the long face? And then it cuts to the talent agency guy, and he's like that. He's a horse from the earlier joke, and he's like, no. So see, it's like a callback to the earlier joke. So if you ever tell that aristocrats joke, just make sure you told the horse joke a few minutes earlier, so the callback makes sense. Anyways, that's every single joke I've ever heard, so thank you for listening. Goodbye. Hello once again. I have another question to answer. This one is from somebody named Love, Sex, Death. And they asked, are you a pretty princess? Only in my dreams, LSD. Only in my princess dreams. But those are just dreams. I mean, it's not like that has any relation. That has nothing to do with real life. I mean, I can't control what I dream. Dreams are just randomly generated content. They have nothing to do with the real world. There is only one person who can control dreams. And that person is Freddy Krueger. And he's not even alive anymore, cause he was killed by Jason Hockeyface. So I'm just saying, it's not like I actually want to be a pretty princess. That is just a silly little dream that has nothing to do with anything. So I hope that answers your question, LSD. This was a pretty short answer, so I'm going to use this remaining time to read a short story that I wrote. It is entitled Tuturella the Pretty Princess. Here it goes. Once upon a time, a pretty princess named Tuturella was sitting in a princess tower, brushing her pretty princess hair. And also she was looking out the window, up into the sky, looking at the stars. They were shining really bright. But then suddenly one of the stars fell from the sky, and it hit Princess Tuturella right in the fucking face. It broke her tear shields, causing tears to flow from her princess eyeball. The tears streamed all over the floor, and they froze because it was really cold. And then they froze and formed the shape of a flying machine. So Tuturella got into the tear machine and flew into the sky, and she flew to the moon. The end. To be continued? ? So yeah, that was just a short story that I wrote about a fictional princess named Tuturella. Who knows what Tuturella will get up to next time? Maybe in this episode she went to space. Maybe next time she'll go to under the sea. Oh hey, today's question is, have you ever had any paranorman experiences? And that was asked by somebody named Silly Bed Games. Anyways, yeah, I've had a couple of paranormal experiences that I can remember. Like this one time on my birthday, I came home and there was this huge box waiting for me, and it said on it, "Happy fucking birthday." That, like, I'm just quoting. That was the exact words that were written on it. So, and like the box was so huge, I was like, wow, there's gotta be so many birthday presents inside this box. But, so then I unwrapped the present, and I looked in the box, and it was completely empty. Because they must have been ghost presents. The ghost stole my presents. They took them into the spirit realm, and all they left behind was like a piece of paper that had a little ghost symbol drawn on it. The symbol, it looked kind of like a hand holding up the middle finger, but I mean, who knows what that means in ghost language. I don't know how to translate ghost symbols into English. I'm not Indiana Jones. But yeah, because of that, since then, I never liked ghosts. And like, I see ghosts pretty much all the time. Like, just the other day, I see them like hovering around. Because they don't have feet. They don't just stand around. They hover in the air. And like, the other day I saw one of them when I was at the Subway sandwich restaurant. And I was there to buy some lunch for my grandpa. And he wanted to eat a foot-long meatball. And the Subway peoples were like, sir, we don't have any foot-long meatballs. But if you want, we can make a foot-long sandwich and fill it with meatballs. But that's not what my grandpa wanted. He wanted a single meatball that was 1 foot long. But it didn't matter anyway, because before I could even get the meatball, one of those goddamn three-eyed ghosts appeared and started staring at me with its 3 empty blank ghost holes in its stupid ghost face. And I was like, you get out of here, you bowling ball face ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I will put my 3 fingers inside your ghost face, and I will cover those pins with ectoprisms, you bowling ball face ghost. So then I got kicked out of Subway for some reason, and let's just say that my grandpa did not eat fresh on that day. He ate the opposite of fresh, because I just got it sandwiched out of a dumpster and gave it to him. But I guess I'm just saying to remember, if you see a ghost, you just gotta point 3 fingers at it, at its 3 eye holes. Tell it who's boss. You just say, "Get out of here, you bowling ball face." And usually they'll get scared and float away into the sky. But like sometimes you come across like a big herd of ghosts all haunting your house or something. You gotta take more drastic measures to get rid of them. And one such method that I have heard of, but I've never tried myself, is like, you gotta remember, what is a ghost's biggest fear? It is Pac-Man's. So one way you can scare ghosts away is to paint yourself completely yellow and then run towards the ghost, opening and closing your mouth, being like, "Wacko, wacko, 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 wacko," making those Pac-Man sounds. But remember, the most important part is before you do that, you gotta eat one of those big flashing super pellets. Otherwise, the ghosts, they will be able to overpower you, and they will eat you alive, and you will make a sound like this. Wow, 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 plop, plop. And you don't ever want to hear that sound. That is the haunting death rattle of the Pac-Man. Oh. So anyway, thanks for listening to Oh hey, that was just some circus music, because today's question from somebody named Aaron is, if you were in the circus, what act would you perform? That's a pretty good question. I think if I was one of the circus people, I would be a lion tamer. I would tame those lions. But I wouldn't do it like the old style, like those fucking guys who whip the lions with a whip and like hit them with chairs and shit. I would be a more friendly and humane lion tamer. Here's how I would tame the lions. You've heard of how to tame your dragon? Well, here is how to tame your lion. First of all, you wanna bring in a nice boom box, cause even though it's 2014, you still gotta play music on a boom box if you wanna tame a lion. And you wanna put on some nice lion music, like the kind of some good lion songs, like Hakuna Matata, or the Circle of Lion Kings, and the wanna win the wanna. So once you got that music playing, that'll soothe down the lion a little bit, but you want to make him even more comfortable. So you gotta pour some nice milk into a kitty dish and slide that on over to the lion, and the lion will start licking at it with his tongue, cause lions like to drink milk. So while the lion is drinking this milk, you can crawl over to the lion. Make sure you crawl on all fours, so you are not any taller than the lion. That way it will not become jealous of you and attack you. So when you crawl up to the lion, you gotta say hello, but you gotta say it in lion language, which sounds like this. Roar! So you gotta make sure you pronounce it right, so you don't accidentally insult the lion people. Now, if the lion returns your greeting, now's your chance. You gotta challenge that lion to a dance-off. And to pronounce that in lion language, you gotta say, roar, roar, dance-off, roar. But for this dance-off, you're gonna need some better music to dance to than this lion song. So, lions also like that band Rush, especially that song about Tom Sawyer. You know, that one that's like, hey Tom Sawyer, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. When the wanna. So yeah, put on that song instead, and then you and the lion get ready for the dance off. And so, like, basically just do all your best dance moves, and like, even if you're not that great of a dancer, you're probably gonna be better than a lion. And that's basically it. At that point, you will have tamed the lion. Just make sure, like, resist the urge to, once you win the dance off, resist the urge to say you got served. Because, that'll just make the lion angry. In fact, just to be on the safe side, don't mention any dance movies. That includes movies such as Save the Last Dance, Step Up to the Streets, and Save the Last Dance 2. Anyway, so once the lion is tamed, you will get all of the circus peanuts, and you will be invited into the Lion Kingdom, where you can sing all of the lion songs. Oh, hey, welcome back to my website, tumblr.com/dashboard. It's been a while since I answered the question, but I just wanted to, let you know that I did not forget, because I could never forget. Much like an elephant, I never forget a website. And also like an elephant, I like to eat circus peanuts, and I also fly around the circus with my elephant wings for all of the circus people and the racist crows. Circus. So anyways, today's question comes from my old friend, Viva la Luna. She's got a difficult name to pronounce. I think it's like Spanish or something. Anyways, her question is, what 6 Pokemon would your dream team consist of? Okay, this is a pretty easy one to answer. Okay, my six Pokemons on my dream team. Number 1, the leader of the pack is Meowth. That's right, because that's the only Pokemon that can speak English, and so I need him to translate from English into Pokemon language so that I can give my commands to the other Pokemons. Otherwise, they pretend they don't understand. Like, they can understand some English, but they just pretend that they don't. But anyways, my second Pokemon would be Squirtlesaurus, because the Squirtlesaurus can squirt his sick waves for the other Pokemons to surf on. Next up is Pokemon number 3, Surfabulbs. And this is an important Pokemon because I need someone to make the surfboards for the other Pokemons. And Surfabulbs is the only one of the species that naturally produces surfboards. Anyway, so number 4 is gonna be the racist Pokemon. You know the one I'm talking about. It was on the TV show and everyone said it was racist. I don't know its official name, but basically that's just gonna be there for misdirection to distract the enemy, because the enemy's gonna see it and be like, whoa, that's a pretty racist Pokemon. It's almost as racist as those crows from Dumbo. Okay, Pokemon number 5 will be Pokemon number 20, the bucket of milk Pokemon. Okay, this is the one that looks like a bucket filled with milk, because the Pokemons are gonna get thirsty and they need some calciums to make their Pokebones nice and strong. So the bucket of milk will keep them strong. And least but not last is the most powerful Pokemon, the one known as Elephist. And in case you're unfamiliar with this one, that's the Pokemon that basically looks like an elephant, but on the end of its trunk, it's got a powerful steel fist of fury. So most of the time when people see this Elephist, they're just like, hey, look at that stupid elephant over there. It's just an elephant. Let's go give it a circus peanut. Peanut. But then the Elephist is like, hey, guess what? The only circus you're gonna be seeing is Andy's circus. When you die and go to hell, just like Andy's circus did, during the making of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He died of an overdose of those motion track dots that were absorbed into his bloodstream. And then he died, but the movie studio covered it up. Anyways, prepare to taste my elefist when I've elefist you in your face hole. So yeah, that's my Pokemon team. It's pretty unstoppable. Unfortunately, I have not been able to assemble that team in any of the video games because it's pretty difficult to find all 6 of those Pokemons at once, unless you use cheat codes, which I will not do, cause that is illegal and immoral. Anyways, I gotta go turn my frying pan into a drying pan, but maybe someday I will see you out there on the battlefields as I ride upon my trusty elefist. Before E except after C, and 2 plus 3 is 4. Oh hey, today's question comes from a person with an authentic Italian name. Their name is Let's Bravocabo. And the question is, what are your plans in case you lose all your monies? Well, hopefully I will not lose all of my precious monies, cause I gotta pay all my grandpa's medical bills and all of the back rent that I owe him for letting me live under his house. But it is interesting that you asked specifically about plants, because as we all know, we've all probably heard the rumor of science that money does not grow on trees. I still remember my first day of school. In science class, I raised my hand and I was like, hey, Mr. Science teacher, there are many kinds of trees in the world, but does money grow on trees? And the science teacher, he says, shut the fuck. The reason that I bring this up is because in the event that I do lose all my money, I have planned for this contingency by planting several money plants that will someday grow into mighty money trees. I planted these money plants in my super secret garden, which it's like I've mentioned before, my grandpa's secret vegetable garden. Well, my garden is even more secret than that. It's like hidden underneath my neighbor's house, and I set up a complex series of mirrors in order to reflect the sunlight onto the money plants, so then they will grow big and strong like beanstalks, and I will be able to climb the beanstalk to Moneyland. So I'm sure that, maybe there are some scientists that are listening to this recording and they think that money trees cannot happen. You're probably kind of skeptical about it, like some kind of Agent Sully. But, I'm more like Agent Mulder, so I want to believe that there can be a money tree, and it will grow, and then the aliens will see it, and they will abduct me to learn my money tree secrets. And you know what? I like to see that science teacher's stupid mustachioed face when he sees my money tree. I don't care if I'm too old to go to that school. I'll walk into that science class carrying my money tree. I'll go in there. I'll be like, hey, science teacher, look at my money tree. You are the one who should have detention, science teacher. You will taste my money tree. Put my money leaves in your mouth, Mr. Science. You will taste my money leaves. Oh, today's question comes from a little green guy named Broshy for Leaf, and they asked, would you sacrifice a goat to get any superpower that you want? And to that I say no, I will not do that. Okay, I know a lot of people out there sacrifice goats like it's no big deal. You go to your little goat sacrificing parties and shit, but I am here this is a public goat announcement. And my PG, usually they say, people are always being like, hey kids, say no to drugs. Well, I'm saying to say no to goat sacrifications. If anybody invites you to a goat sacrificing party, you just say no, I'm busy doing drugs. Don't let anybody peer pressure you into cutting that goat's head off. I remember one time I got tricked into going to some goat sacrificing party, and I went into the sacrification lounge, and there was a big red star painted on the floor. It was painted in dark red sticky paint, and I walked in there, and they handed me one of those curved knives, and they were like, sacrifice this goat for the good Lord Satan Christ. But then I looked down at the goat, and I looked into its little goat eyes, and the goat spoke to me, and it said, I'm a little goat. Please don't sacrifice me. And that's when I realized that I had the ability to hear goats' words translated into English. And so then I was like, I will not sacrifice this goat, Grandpa. I'm gonna take this goat and let him be free. And so I grabbed the goat, and I threw the curved knife out the window. And then I jumped out the window and ran to the ocean. And I let the goat sail away to live its new life under the sea. 'Cause the goat told me, he was like, let me live with the mermaids. So yeah, remember that if you're ever out there scuba diving and you see like a goat swimming by, just know that goat was probably saved by me. 'Cause I saved a lot of goats. So anyway, to answer the question, the only way I would sacrifice a goat in exchange for a superpower is if that power was the ability to bring ghosts back to life that have been sacrificed. But then that creates like a paradoxical effect. It's like Ouroboros, like the snake sucking its own tail. It's like circular. It's like poetry 'cause it rhymes. Every stanza rhymes with the Kramer that came before it. Anyways, I think I can hear a goat in my neighbor's house, so I gotta go over there and save it and send it to live under the sea. 'Cause there's lots of fucking goats under the sea. Oh, what is your favorite type of glue? Is the question from a person named Bob Dead Fred. Yeah, I only have one favorite type of glue, and that is the glue that I make myself. Because I used to use regular glue until the day that I learned the terrible secret that glue is made out of horses. And I don't want to hurt those horses. So I learned how to construct my own glue using science. 'Cause I am a scientist. Okay, here is the secret of how you make your own glue. All you need is some chicken McNugget dipping sauces. You just need to get some barbecue sauces and some sweet and sours. And you get them in those little McNugget packet things. And then you just gotta combine the two sauces and the two flavors join forces scientifically to create a strong adhesive that is just as sticky as regular glue and just as delicious. I know that because before I knew that it was made out of horses, I also used to eat glue sometimes because I would dip my McNuggets in there because my grandpa would take all the good dipping sauces for himself and just leave me with a bucket of glue. Anyways, now that you know how to make your own cruelty-free glue, you don't need to use this. You can let all the glue companies go out of business. Right now, I'm collecting as many of these dipping sauces as I can, because I need a lot of glue to make this very special artistic piece that I intend to present to the horse people. It is going to be a big collage with various photographs of famous horses of the world. Horses such as the famous Mr. Ed, and the war horse, and the horse whisperer, and so many other famous horses like them. They're gonna be stuck all over this collage. And I will take this collage down to the farm, and I will show the horses, and I will show them that it is made with cruelty-free glue, and I will present it to them as a peace offering to make amends for the many years that I used glue that was made out of ground-up horse bones. And hopefully the horses will forgive me. 'Cause I didn't know, horses. I'm sorry. I ate your horse bones. Oh, I still remember the first time I used glue, regular glue. I was like, let me check the ingredients to make sure it's okay. And I looked at the ingredients, they'd all been redacted by the military. They put black bars over the various words that said like horse skulls and horse shins. So I didn't know. Okay, horses, if there are any horses listening to this recording, I just want to say, no, because I have a dream to live in a world where no animal is unjustly harmed. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat a big plate of chicken McNuggets, 'cause those are goddamn delicious. I'm loving it. When the moon hits your eyeball like a big pizza pie ball, that's a pizza. Oh, hey, today's question comes from somebody named Money Bordermill. And the question is, what are you allergic to? Yeah, I've got a few food allergies. Like I'm allergic to seawater, which I discovered one day at the beach when my grandpa was like, "Hey, you should go drink some of that fucking ocean water. It tastes real good." So I drank it, and it tasted pretty good. But then I guess I had an allergic reaction after I drank like 4 liters of it. Yeah, my grandpa kind of helped me discover many of my food allergies that way. You know, just like I also discovered that I'm allergic to rocks. I can't eat rocks anymore. I'm also allergic to sand, and also allergic to poison. But I think the reason why I'm allergic to all these like gourmet culinary foods is because, you know, my taste buds are not used to such different foods of the world. But that's probably because, you know, when you grow up in an orphanage for so many years, you only eat simple orphan foods. Like, you mostly just eat OG, orphan gruel. You know, you like wake up in the morning, eat some gruel cereal, maybe some gruel toast. Then for lunchtime, you eat a gruel sandwich. And then later on at dinner time, you eat a nice, delicious gruel bar. The only time we got like fancy foods at the orphanage was from this one orphan girl whose name was Pizza Bali, and she would sometimes smuggle in slices of pizza into the orphanage. And one time, she smuggled in a whole pizza pie with the pepperoni and the mozzarella pizza the melon. Oh. And yeah, that was really good pizza. I was like, Mamma Mia. But anyways, one day the orphan master, like, I think he has like a heightened sense of smell. So he was like, who's got pizza in my orphanage? Listen up, you shit clowns. You clown shits are supposed to be eating orphan gruel. That's all you should eat. If you want a pizza, you shape that gruel into a circle and then slice it into triangles. Okay? Now listen up. You tell me who's got the pizza. He said he like grabbed me by the shirt lapels and he was like, you tell me, orphan boy, tell me where the pizza is. And I was like, no, orphan master, you can take my orphan gruel, but you never take my orphan pizza. It's my pizza box.